Hey, what is on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're doing something slightly different. Actually, it's very different. Today we are going to be doing another Sims Mobile concept. Now, if you don't know, I did concepts for the Sims Mobile last year, such as Llama Zoom. I improved Llama Zoom. I introduced schools into the Sims Mobile. I mean, they are all concepts. They were just meant to like generate ideas for the developers. And I was like nothing actually. So I took a 1 year break because of two reasons. I had exams and I had no ideas. That time was like the major point that I can think of ideas, because like I asked players, oh, what do you want to see improved in the game or like added, and they mostly said Llama Zoom and surprising choices. So that was the two focus that time. Schools were just something added on, but it was an interesting concept. So last year was very focused on improving things that already exist. This year, however, I was thinking of creating new experiences. So here we have a new thing called clubs. And clubs, because The Sims Mobile it's focused on multiplayer. There is a multiplayer feature such as parties, but it was not the best. And as Simguri Ilya actually said, that parties are very neglected nowadays. Like, players rarely interact with parties. I don't interact with parties, that's why also. So I'm part of that clan. But basically I was thinking of a way how to make The Sims Mobile to have another multiplayer feature, and I was like clubs, because clubs are kind of like those things that make, because I mean The Sims 4, as we all know, it was also meant to be an online multiplayer game, but due to some backlash from SimCity 2013, it shifted, and for some reason they still decided to add not a multiplayer feature, but basically a concept that was meant to be multiplayer, which was The Sims 4 Get Together. Like, that was so obvious. It was meant to be a multiplayer feature, but sadly they had to delay it. And yeah, it was kind of like that experience. So I was like, how to make that experience come into the mobile experience, simplifying it, and at the same time creating a freemium experience. Now you may be coming at me like, oh Ben, why do you want to create a freemium experience? Yeah. Now listen up. If we make a freemium version of the game, there's chances that it may go in, the developers may be like, oh, this is actually kind of cool, and like this should be in the game. If we go for a total like, oh, we're gonna go with this like safe play, no battle versus group, club versus group, the developers are like, I mean, it's kind of useless, because like Simgur Jack also tweeted. He also told me, okay, I posted all of this. This is actually recorded damn long ago. Oh, I'm using Malaysian now. This was recorded damn long ago, and Simgur Jack actually replied with some feedback, and he gave up to 10, and I was like, whoa. I never see any of this actually coming. I was like, oh, this feedback. Excuse me. I never see this feedback. Like, I was shook when I saw it, and he was like, oh, this is a great concept, but here are my straightforward facts. And he was really straightforward and really made sense, because like he also like explained how to make it freemium at the same time. So we all know how much we want to go for a total like premium experience, but sadly The Sims Mobile is not that. It's a freemium, it's a free game, therefore it's going to become a freemium game. So as I said, Simgur Jack actually got some opinions. He said, oh, by the way, actually, so I posted this on Twitter, and I was like, oh, this is fine. And I heard like, I received replies from people, and they said it was an interesting concept, but they said that they were not a fan of the kind of versus system, though it's an interesting concept, not to say. And I was like, yes, this is something we need, because it was fun. I felt like it would be fun, but at the same time it may be unfair, because this is just half of the thing. I have not planned the clubs. This is actually an event. If the club, there's like these rare events that happen called club gatherings, and it's kind of like, it's just like sweet treat events. It's just that. So it's just half of it, and I decided to do the second half before doing the first half. So the first half is not complete, but I actually planned this out. I wanted to do the second half because the second half felt more like, because players one, I know players tend to come back into the game when the second event. That's true for sure for me. I only come back to the game when there's like a huge event. So that's why I was like, okay, this kind of thing is something players would want to return to. So I was like, okay, what happened if I do this? How will it affect the first half? Because right now itself, right, the second half of the game already has so much opinions from players. Players said they do like the idea of having a rivalry, a versus kind of system, but it was not the smartest because like, so I'm gonna read out what Jack said and give my opinions about it. So the first thing he said was, it needs okay. This was actually an error. You see now the second half of the concept, it's actually not centered, and I was like, no. And I only realized this when I went to the club progress. So I was like, no. So I decided to edit the club progress, copied the bottom section of the club progress, and pasted it onto the others. I changed the member ones, but I forgot to change the personal progress to being highlighted so that it's considered that it's in the personal menu. But I totally forgot about that, and Jack was like, oh, you forgot about that. So he was like, first and second one was like that. He said, yeah, so sorry Jack, that's on my side. Hope you don't mind me, I'm still new. Actually, the whole idea was just to generate ideas for the I'm sure the developers had this in thought, but like, I want to generate some interesting ideas, okay? Okay, so the second thing they said was, the club tokens, they are not meant to be spent, they're just meant to be collected. So in normal events, you get up to 1 to 5. It's a random number, but completing, you see here called task, the event task, you will receive more tokens, and the tokens will progress through the bars and it will increase. But there's no way of spending the tokens. And he was like, the tokens on the top there was unnecessary because you can't spend them. Unlike SimCash, you can actually spend them because there is a spending section for it, like skip the task. So that was one of the problems. And then we had, I really like the personal progress. He did like the personal and member progress, because I also can agree with that. I felt like I wouldn't mind if I win or lose the grand prize from the club progress, but I would definitely love to win in personal and members, because yeah, that's a nice area to work in. As a player, I might benefit from knowing. Another thing was that you only had like one task at a time, so you couldn't see like what's the next task. You can tap skip for now, but like skipping for now, you never know when that goes to the bottom and like when it will return. So Jack was like, oh, you should actually include like what would the next task be, so that you know like what could it be. So that was on my side. Like, no, that was actually not on my side, because my original design, it said, hold on, what did it say? It said complete the task above to get the next task card, and that was true. So I was like that, and yeah. So then we have, I really like the personal progress as a benefit. I think I have the one currency be the source of the. He felt like the idea of having just the one currency, the club. It's not called club tokens. They are called club perks, because I'm taking from the Sims 4. So they're called club perks, and he said that the idea of having just one club perk to progress through all the menus were kind of clumsy, at the same time very uneasy. I felt like it was actually very helpful. I mean, personally for me, I thought it was a good idea to have all the club perks to be one number, So it's easier for players to know how much, I mean not how much they need, but basically how much they need to work with. So for the personal progress you have some, for the group, the member progress you have some, and for the club progress it's just like that. That's kind of the concept I was originally going with, but he said it was kind of complicating, so I was like, how to make this different? I don't know how to make it different. So we shall see. By the way, this is just part 1. There's gonna be another one where I update all of this and hopefully include the first half of the whole club idea. So then he said the idea of having the club versus club was definitely an interesting one, but the idea of having a huge prize for it was stressful, and that was something I can agree on. Again, as I said, because he said that players will want any possible way of winning them. So I was like, okay, maybe like after the event you can buy the grand prize, but they will cost like 100 Llama Zoom tokens, because you can't afford Llama Zoom tokens. You can't even buy them on the stores, which is kind of a dumb thing. But yeah, so he said that, and I was like, yeah, I can agree with that. So I felt I want to keep the club progress. I felt the club progress was something definitely needed, but it was definitely something we need to work on. So then we have all players need to get a chance. Yeah, and that's true. The idea of locking away the prize from players who lost one was unfair. He said, not to say a bit, but he was like, oh, maybe a leaderboard would be nice. And I was like, I feel like leaderboard, I don't know how, a leaderboard is an interesting idea also, but like, how are you supposed to implement it into this? I don't know, actually. I really have no clue, but that's what he said. So then, what else did he say? He said leaderboard would be interesting. And like he said, oh, by the way, if you guys don't know who Zimgur Jack is, he's the game designer. He's the game designer, and he's a good game designer. So he said in his team, he said in our designs, what the freak is wrong with me? In our design, the first we think do it. No, my English was correct. His English is wrong. I'm sorry, Jack. In our design, the first we think do is. Yeah, the first thing we do is. That's correct. The first thing we do. Yeah, you mixed up the we thing. The first thing we do is define our reasons and the goal of. I can't read. Define the reasons and the goals of define our reasons and the goal for what we're trying to achieve or do with the feature. Define the question and design the answer. This will help you keep your work focused. And that was true. The whole objective I was thinking was how to make this a multiplayer feature where everyone needs to work together. At the same time, you don't need to work together. And there we have it. But he said, again, a lot of improvements needed. And I was like, yeah, we need definitely a lot of improvements. But I asked my friend, like, oh, God, dude, do I need any improvement? And he was like, no, this is actually so good. Clearly, he never seen the real image. So what are we thinking now for clubs is that there's going to be a rating system, and I don't know how actually I'm going to make this. Like, I mean, I'm not even working. This is just a concept. It was just an idea I had. But what I want for clubs is a rating system. So like, if you're first star, this is what. But I felt like if the idea of having first star, second star. So replacing this club progress, the one you see on screen right now, replacing that with the circle, with the ratings. Like you say, let's say if you reach this rating, you get this kind of. If you win the club gathering, you get this a star higher. And I was like, yeah, that's an interesting concept. But then I was thinking, first issue, what will the stars do? So then I was like, oh, maybe like each star that will be like kind of like a boost. So like if you have 1 star, you get like more simoleons. If you get a 2 star, you get more sim cash or something. Like it's just like kind of a bonus trait. But then I thought even deeper, and I was like, okay, maximum I'm pretty sure that should be 5 stars. But then reason A is because what happened if the player decided to join the club because it had the 5 stars, not because it needed a club. Second reason was 5 stars. Second reason is that if you reach the 5 stars, what's the point of competing in the next club event? Like, it's just that problems that I can't think of creates such a huge gap. But I never actually really thought. I'm actually thinking like, how would a game developer actually think about this? And I was like, oh, game developers really think. You may see the surface and be, wait, what time is it? Oh my god, it's gonna be 4? Oh my god, it's gonna be 4. How did I not know that? Oops. So yeah, but now after I started doing concept, I was like thinking of a developer how to make it more interesting. But I'm putting my hands on Fire Monkeys because Fire Monkeys, I'm pretty sure they took the idea. They said it was an interesting concept and they are thinking of implementing it, but in their own perspective. And I was like, okay, sure, have fun. And yeah, but yeah, and why is there such a huge, okay. I'm pretty sure I would help someone in that period of time, but yeah. So now what are we doing here? We're doing like if you click on view grand prize in the club progress, it will take you this menu which shows all the prizes. And yeah, the prizes were a lot. There was 8 items as the prize, and he was right. I was like, true, that's a bit too much. Players may not like it, but yeah, that's I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, I mean, I kind of missed through all the other ones. I wanted to talk more about the others, but I got so focused and carried away from that. But yeah, so there's still like 3 minutes more. So the images you see in this one, they came from the Sims 4 origin.com and the Sims Mobile Twitter. This pink picture, this pink picture you see right now is from the Sims Mobile's Twitter. Then the background for the club, like the blur background, is actually from the Diwali pic, the Diwali promotional pic. And then we had the clothing items, which are from the Sims 4, but I took them from Origin because they were downloadable on Origin. So yeah, and I had to individually get rid of the background, so that was a fun time. But are we gonna finish soon? We have 30 seconds, so I think I'm gonna end here. You're gonna see the screenshots of this. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you like this video, please comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.